Good Wednesday morning. I was out of breath before I started that. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he never fumbled and got cut the next day. Hill Illustrates here, everybody.
Steve, I'm a little bit sad this morning.
Oh no! Do we have sad music?
Just a little sad. Yeah, I didn't let anybody know.
I'll do it.
That was sad music. I didn't realize that I will not be able to see John Cena after this year.
Yeah, he's retiring. We've been over this. We talked about it.
But I mean, you're not going to be able to see him again, Steve.
I'm not upset about that.
What? I mean, come on.
I've never been a John
There's
Cena
no
fan.
WWE without John Cena.
I feel like it should be. He's one guy I will not miss. I don't like him as an actor.
So you're not sad?
I don't like him as an actor. I don't like him as a wrestler.
What's he ever done to you?
I just don't. He just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I've just never liked him. The jorts, the lack of a tan. I don't know. It just drives me nuts.
Wow.
Yeah. It drives me. He's always driven me nuts. I've never enjoyed John Cena. I know I'm upsetting some people out there right now. I've just never been a John Cena fan. But now when he announced his retirement, I don't remember what month it was now. God, it seems like we go to Raw and SmackDown like every other month out here in Phoenix. But earlier this year, after he announced it, I went to that one because he was going to be there. I was like, it's going to be the last time I'm going to see him. That's what Ethan said. So we went to that one. And I was like, yeah, all right. He's all right. Yeah, I'm not a John Cena fan. You can see him in all of his crappy movies and stuff if you want.
Just going to take all my interest away from WWE.
I'll get you somebody else that you'll enjoy. If you like John Cena, they have plenty of bad characters.
But they're not
like
John
that can
Cena's. It's like saying, who's going to be the next Emmitt Smith. Everybody's a pretender.
I was actually pretty upset when he broke the, belt-holding championship, beat Ric Flair's number. And I was like, no. He's no. At least he's not a heel anymore. At least now he's back to being a babyface.
So but he elicits emotion from you. That's good, whether you like him or you hate him.
No, I turned it off and was like, stupid WWE. I'm done with this, and then I watched next time.
Yeah, you come right back.
I actually have not been paying attention at all. They're going to be here next month before the ASU Houston game there at Mullet Arena.
Uh-oh.
I'll be at that one. I'm excited for that one because that's Mullet. That's a small arena, which we usually sit down low anyway. So we're used to, that's I know I just bragged there. I apologize. Yeah. But at Mullet Arena, everybody's going to be closed. That's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that one.
Don't I only see like 5,000 people?
5,000 people.
Maybe more for wrestling than for hockey.
Well, how can they do that? The ring in the middle. I saw the layout because when we went to that TNA one there, like half the arena was just shut down. Because you have a camera side and then a non-camera side.
Yeah.
And half the non-camera side, like nobody was sitting on. So on this one, then their stage blocked off a whole bunch of seats, obviously.
Oh, okay.
So this one, the ring's in the middle, and I guess they come in from underneath the arena. Underneath, if you know a Mullet Arena, they come out underneath and then they'll walk out to the ring. So it'll be all 5,000 seats plus some floor seats and stuff like that. So I don't know. Does it go more with the floor seats? I didn't look into that. But basically 5,000 people will be there. Yeah. It's going to be fun, Dale. I got a couple extra tickets. You want to go? I bought 4 for that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. You want to come?
I think I'm busy.
Bring out Graham Tate. And then he'll be like, Pop, that was so much fun. We should go all the time.
I think
Pop.
we're busy that night.
Well, little do you know, Graham Tate's got a question for you.
I think we're picking asparagus that night.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, it is now. What'd you do? Just find out that he's retiring? Did you just get caught up on the news?
It's on ESPN.
Is it?
Yes, it's front page of ESPN.
Oh, so I haven't loaded ESPN up yet today.
You're not going to see him?
We have so much stuff to go over. I was like, I can't have more stuff out there. I can't look at more stuff out there.
I mean, what's more important, that or Rob Ryan went to USC this year? How's that make the front page?
As a defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Rob Ryan's still a thing?
I guess he is.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they're head coach there. How Lincoln Riley, how lucky did Oklahoma get with him leaving? He's terrible.
I don't know. He's better at Oklahoma than he is at USC.
Well, that's my point. That's my point. Could this have happened at Oklahoma? And then you're just, I mean, they haven't been great, but and all that stuff. But yeah, but you were I opened up the show because you told me this beforehand. Jets cut the Gibson. He caused that fumble, cost him the game basically.
No, he fumbled.
Yeah, well, he did fumble. What'd I say?
He said he caused the fumble.
Oh no, yeah, I'm sorry. He fumbled the ball and everything. On the kick return.
Xavier Gibson.
Yeah, and then that allowed the Steelers to get the ball, and now it's usually me doing a whole bunch of stuff. Siri's like, Dale, tell Siri not to bother me.
Yeah, what is Siri doing eavesdropping on my Cena conversation?
But Aaron Glenn cuts him today.
He did. He said, and because right after that fumbles when the Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown.
Yep. And then the 60-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Basically, it was kind of like Derrick Henry. Do you think the Ravens are cutting Derrick Henry today after that fumble?
I don't think that he's in the same. It's like who was it? I heard somebody talking about. The coach of the Cardinals, and then he went to Tampa Bay.
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians, he's going to cut some.
Yeah, you always
because he's parked in the wrong spot.
Parked in his parking spot, so we cut him.
Come on, man.
That's just somebody that's going to get cut. You just do it early to prove a point, right? So, but Aaron Glenn said on Sunday, man, we can't have turnovers. We can't do it. We have to be a more disciplined team. That's something that will be addressed. You will not be on the field with this team if you're going to cause us to lose games.
Oh. And you're also not one of the top 25
guys.
That's
the thing. Because I guarantee you Justin Fields is going to cost them a couple games this year. He's not going to get cut
right
in the middle of the season from that side. He was an unrestricted free agent in 2023 and joined the Jets at that time. So, yeah, exactly. It's easy to do that stuff. But you brought up an interesting point. We don't see this anymore. We used to see it all the time in this league. Specifically, you're familiar with it.
Yes. Jimmy Johnson, that was part of his psychology over the football team. Did
it work?
I think it did.
It worked with the people in that position, but did Emmett go, oh, no, he's going to cut me if I mess up?
No, he didn't. But obviously, you're not really concerned about the Troys, Michaels, Emmets.
Yeah, because if they do fumble the ball or something, it's going to be a rare occurrence.
Yes. And you look at it and you're going to go, you know what, I'm trying to affect the bottom half of the roster to get them focused and understand this could happen to you.
I do think there's something that the NFL does really well, and it's a harsh league. It really is, like this instance, because he's probably not going to get picked up by anybody else, So maybe he'll get on a practice squad, but his fundamental football year has changed. But I do think there's something that the NFL does right where you have to motivate those low-end guys where you're just constantly in fear of losing your job, meaning you better perform. And it raises that level up, or else you're gone.
Well, it's like I've told you. I mean, when we were good in Dallas those 4 or 5 years, only 15 guys, maybe even 14 guys got all 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Out of a 53-man roster, that's a 4-year period. That's how much the roster changes.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's crazy. Anywhere else, like at your work, 90-something% of the people at your work have been there for 4 years.
Yes, yes.
So I do think the NFL does that correctly, where you're just trying to hang on and do all that stuff and everything, but it makes it look like a cruel world.
Well, it is. Yeah. Dog-eat-dog world, Steve.
I don't think there's any doubt. Now, he's not a vested veteran, so he doesn't get paid for the whole year. Like a vet. Well, if he's 2023 undrafted free agent, I don't know if he played before that, but I think it's 3 years before you become it's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Where you become the vet, where if you're on the roster for the first week and get cut, you get paid for the whole year. I don't know if he's qualified for that. Well, you know what? I'll put it this far. He probably does not if they cut him.
Yeah, or he's making minimum.
I guarantee you he's making minimum.
Yeah.
I won't guarantee it, but he's probably making minimum or close to minimum. So you're saying NFL owners are cheap, man. They don't eat money unless they have to, Dale.
It's gotten a little bit better. I mean, I was around when you had to play 3 games into your 4th year to qualify for your pension and all that. And I saw guys get pulled off a bus on that 3rd game, actually fly the player to the city, spend the night, get up, go to get on the bus in the morning to go to the game and get called off the bus.
Yeah, see, that infuriates me.
And nobody's gonna pick you up because you're a mediocre guy anyway.
Yeah.
And whoever picks you up is gonna be responsible for the pension and all that stuff.
So your career's over at that point. So go into it. I mean, NFL, cruel world it is.
Yeah.
That's just a microcosm of real life.
Isn't it? Wow. Not like your cushy corporate job that you had forever and ever.
I don't think. I mean, only people that got fired there was if you stole or said something you shouldn't say, if you know what I mean.
Or just really sucked.
Yeah, I mean, even if you really sucked, I'm pretty sure we kept you employed for a while. We just kept moving you around, to be honest with you.
Go to that department.
Yeah, it was like, hey, we got something else for you over here. I think it was one of those deals. I know in my position, I think I only had to fire 3 or 4 people, and 5 people in my 20 years there, and I'll bet you most of those were people that just stopped showing up. Those are the easy ones.
They kind of fired themselves.
Yeah, it's like, and then they show up on the 5th day, and they're like, "Yeah, back to work," and it's like, where you been?
Yeah.
Wait, what the heck, man? It's interesting that we see that back there as well. So, programming notes out there, of course, this show, 8 to 10 a.m. McCollum on Business at 11. Pit Stop today. We're calling it the Look Ahead show for today. So, we changed the format of the Pit Stop this week. On Monday, I did my recap show over the racing over the last weekend. That's going to be the format moving forward, folks. So, if you missed that on Monday, check that out on there. Today, we'll do the Look Ahead, meaning we'll look ahead to this race weekend at Bristol. Thursday night racing here, Dale, on Thursday night, Truck Series there at Bristol. Friday night, Xfinity Series. Saturday night, Cup Series under the lights at Bristol. Yeah, you like Bristol. There's a lot of wrecks in this one.
Yeah, are we getting close to the end?
We're a month and a half from early November championship race here.
Is that still out here?
Yeah, this was the last year it's here.
Okay.
And then it's moving to Miami for next year and everything. So, yeah. So that Look Ahead show will be up there just to give everybody that note. We did it kind of like as a test, and I kind of liked the format. And it does shorten the shows up a little bit, so it doesn't need to be the full hour of just rambling. And it's more relevant, quicker information for everybody out there and everything like that. So, what do you want to start at here? Because I have a lot of stuff here, Dale. And, one thing I know you've been clamoring to talk about for a long time here. WNBA playoffs are here, Dale. I know you've just been like, tell me when the playoffs are here. That's all I care about.
All I wanted to make sure was that my Valkyries got in.
And they, barely, but they got in. Expansion team, most expensive expansion team in WNBA history. Isn't that amazing? The Warriors owners can get the Valkyries in, but not the Warriors.
Well, I'm happy for the Phoenix Mercury. It's kind of amazing. You get rid of Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, and all of a sudden you're a playoff team.
But Atlanta's a playoff team, too, which is where Brittany Griner went. I have no idea how she's playing. No. I'm not going to lie to you. So here are the regular season, or the playoff teams here. Minnesota, who is probably going to win it all, Dale. I'm going to have a terrible, terrible time when they do that. Las Vegas gets in. Atlanta, New York, Golden State, and Indiana squeezes in. The Indiana Fever gets in, obviously missing Caitlin Clark from that side. And then, of course, Phoenix. Phoenix gets in. They clinched their berth, a week and a half ago or so. So if you like playoff basketball, the Footprint Center, or whatever it's called now, PHX Arena, going to have, again, it's been a while since we've had playoff basketball there, Dale. Now we're going to have it there again.
Yeah, how can the Warriors ownership get Valkyries in, but not the Warriors? How can the Suns get the Mercury? I mean,
I know.
Mercury ownership get them in, but not the Suns.
I know. And I'm not going to lie to you. Now that the playoffs are here, I didn't watch as many games this year as I have in the past. I don't know why. In the past I've always had them on. But the games I've seen of the Mercury, they're actually kind of fun to watch.
Yes.
They're a lot of fun. I shouldn't say kind of. They're a lot of fun to watch.
AT.
The problem I have with them though is they're really good, but I don't think they're championship good. So there's like 2 or 3 teams ahead of them, like Minnesota and New York, that I don't think they can really touch, but they're better than everybody else. So it's going to be an interesting playoffs because you're eventually going to have to face off with one of those teams here in the playoffs.
And Caitlin Clark's out for the playoffs too?
I believe so, right?
I just know the last thing I saw where they said the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, I know. So you know what? I should probably look that up. I've just assumed because we would have heard that would have been all over the news if they've announced it yet.
Right.
But a couple of days before that gets going. But no, in all seriousness, I just wanted to mention Phoenix Mercury back into the WNBA playoffs, which is good. It's good for Arizona. It's good for our sports. Say what you want. It's good that there's some playoff basketball down there at PHX Arena. Been a while.
All right, move on.
Oh, Devin Booker. There's Devin Booker. You're going to get him back to the playoffs this year? Going to let that hang out there? Speaking of NBA, we got some more drama in this Kawhi Leonard situation.
Oh.
I think the general consensus is Steve Ballmer did not do himself any favors by doing that interview with ESPN. Kind of raised some more question marks. We addressed that, a week or so ago when that happened out there. Then the news is starting to come out. He has an uncle. It's always your family members that take you down, right, Cam Newton? But he's got an uncle. It's Uncle Dennis, who apparently it's coming out through. The update is the NBA is doing the investigation now on this situation.
Okay.
And the Clippers, I told you before, I think the Clippers are cooked on this. Now, what will the punishment be and stuff like? They're definitely doing something. Now, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say circumvent the cap. I don't know if I'd go that far, but they definitely knew Kawhi Leonard was getting paid on the side to be a Clipper. Because I don't care what you say, that company, no company, I've worked for a lot of companies, no company goes, we're going to pay you just to sit around and do nothing, let alone $7 million a year. That just doesn't happen in the world unless there's something,
Not even advertised for him?
No, yeah, no, this story gets amazing.
Yeah.
So Uncle Dennis Robertson, it has come out that he had made requests to the Raptors because in 2019 he was a free agent and he ended up signing with the Clippers. And that raised eyebrows around the league. Like, why is he going to the Clippers? Now it's out there that Uncle Dennis made requests to the Raptors when he was a free agent that basically line up almost perfectly with what we now know deals he got with the Clippers. They're so cooked. Now the question is, what's the punishment going to be on that side? So he asked for, deals on the side, where do all that stuff. It goes so far that he had, according to sources, and I get this from Yahoo, it's other places as well. So he had a long list, Uncle Dennis had on a long list here. So Robertson asked for ownership stakes in outside companies. One, they asked for ownership in the Toronto Maple Leafs if he was going to stay in Toronto. We want an ownership stake in the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you don't know, Raptors and Maple Leafs are owned by the same conglomerate on that. So he asked for ownership in outside companies. I know in Toronto, at least, it was with the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. The Raptors were also told they needed to match at least $10 million per year in extra sponsorship income. Now, NBA teams are allowed to introduce players to team sponsors and stuff like that. But all you can do is do the handshake, hey, Kawhi Leonard, and then you turn around and walk off. Teams cannot negotiate deals or anything like that, right? So you can introduce them, but that's it. And that's where I go, there's no way Steve Ballmer did not know Kawhi Leonard was talking to this company. Because as a sponsor of the team at the time, that introduction was made between the team and that company. Kawhi Leonard, they weren't just like, hey, here's Kawhi Leonard, give him a call. They were like, oh, I'll introduce you, right?
But if you just introduce him, you're saying that's not illegal.
No, that's not illegal. Yeah, no, it happens all the time. Like Devin Booker knows every sponsor on the Suns, like PayPal and all that stuff. He's been introduced to them at least to see maybe you can work out a deal or something like that, right? But then, when according to the Raptors, or a source, I should say, when Kawhi Leonard and Uncle Dennis specifically, was told about all the corporate sponsors in Toronto, that would be happy to have Leonard as a pitchman, Uncle Dennis and that team said, we don't want to do anything. So Raptors representatives reportedly told them that any sponsor would want to shoot ads or arrange appearances. At a minimum, like I said, you just do appearances.
Right.
Hey, we're having this corporate thing. Kawhi Leonard will fly you out. You show up for 3 hours, shake hands, kiss babies, sign some autographs, and then you're out of here. Like this is at a minimum you have to do. Robertson, Uncle Dennis, flat out said Leonard didn't want to do anything for the money. So here's the thing. I don't have a problem. I mean, it just shows Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard's one of the laziest superstars we've ever seen in our lives. Like, that's my opinion of him. So I'm not surprised he wants a lot of stuff for nothing. He just seems like it's just everything I know about Kawhi Leonard tells me he's that type of person.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them asking. I don't have a problem with them asking at all. If you want to ask for that stuff, ask for it. Next job interview I have up in Toronto, I'm going to ask for ownership rights into the Toronto Maple Leafs too. Maybe they'll give it to me. Worst case, they say no, and I move on, right? We continue the conversation. But Toronto, that's when the Raptors realized that Kawhi Leonard wasn't asking to just be introduced to Toronto's corporate community to make some extra money and do sponsorships. They realized that they were being asked to arrange no-show jobs and arrange no investments. And then, fast forward, the Clippers have pretty much matched. He has those deals with the Clippers. Let me put it that way. Playing for the Clippers, he has the deals that Toronto said no on. This is damning for the Clippers, man. So, in my opinion, what's the NBA going to do about it?
Well, you got to think that obviously you've got, what are there, 30 teams in the NBA now?
Yes.
You've got 29 other owners who are going to be very, very upset that they've circumvented the salary cap. You can look at it another way and say, well, how many championships have they won?
That's issue number 2.
You know?
But I mean, but I would even go so far as to say, even if the Clippers had no clue this was happening, which I will never believe, Steve Ballmer paid so much attention to the Intuit. Like, he sat in every seat to make sure it had a good sight line. He put so much attention to detail on that. This is a guy that is a cajillion billionaire because of every detail he puts into every aspect of his life, including at Microsoft when he ran it and stuff like that. And you mean to tell me he signs Kawhi Leonard and then goes, I'm not paying attention now. So I don't believe it. But let's say the Clippers had no idea this was happening at all. What would you do about it in that point?
I think that...
Like, if a company wants to, here's what I'm saying. If a company wants, so basically for me, this comes down to, do the Clippers know about it or not? Because if the Clippers know about it and it's against NBA rules and they didn't raise the red flag, Clippers are guilty.
Well, to me, it's if the Clippers went to these companies and say, hey, can you help us out?
That's what it looks like.
And if some companies, just like a booster, if a booster wants to give a college kid a $1 million NIL deal, and now it's legal.
If I went to Sam Leverett today and said, hey, I'm going to give you all this stuff, and we broke the rules, but ASU didn't know about it. Well, ASU takes the blame for that, right? And things like that. But it's not technically ASU's fault.
No.
So if this happened, on the side, but they didn't go the Raptors and ask for all this stuff, and the Raptors are like, no. And then they go to the Clippers, and they're like, all right, we're not going to bring it up to the Clippers. We're going to do it on our own. I'm just saying, what company is going to give somebody $7 million a year, $28 million deal to do nothing unless there's a nod, wink, or a $50 million investment from the owner of the team to help cover those costs. Hey, this is fascinating. So what's the NBA going to do at this point? If this happened on the side, it's just there's too much stuff there. But, it's not good. Not good for the Clippers.
Well, it's definitely not a good look. And, again, it's unprecedented. So that's one of those things that's like, well, do you want to come down really hard? Well, it's the first time it's been outed.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. But, I mean, who else? Who else in the NBA is doing this? Come on.
You got somebody in mind?
No, I'm just saying.
It's the first time it's been outed. Yeah. So do you make an example of the Clippers? So hopefully
you made an example of the Minnesota Timberwolves back in, what was it, 2019? Joe Smith voided the contract, wasn't allowed to re-sign with that team, and what was it, four first-round draft picks that they were costing stuff. Money's not going to hurt. Steve Ballmer, I know it sounds ridiculous, but Steve Ballmer can cut a $500 million check, and, that's like you and me losing $20, folks. He's made a ton of money in his life out there. They don't have first-round draft picks to get on it. So you void Kawhi Leonard's contract. Okay. Oh, darn.
Yeah.
I have to pay him anymore? All right.
And who's going to pay in that contract now anyway?
This is fascinating. What's the NBA going to do? But I wanted to get everybody the update on that. Like I said, there is an out here, and it's not looking very good. But if the Clippers introduced him to these companies, and the companies made the deals themselves, and the Clippers didn't know about it, fine. It's not the Clippers' problem. Clippers have a sponsorship problem that they need to talk to the sponsors about the legality of that and stuff like that. I just don't think that's the case.
How do you, with a straight face, sit there and go, you're like $7 million a year for 4 years, and we don't want to do anything.
Yeah, we don't ever want to see you again.
Can't use his picture, his likeness, nothing.
That's probably, just have him outside standing on. All he had to do was walk by a tree, and they take a picture of it, and then it's an ad campaign. That's the minimum you had to do. Like, hey, Kawhi, go stand by that tree over there for us. All right, done. 2 seconds. He's walking to his car, and that's all you had to do. Good for him. Robert says, at TME Sports Show, don't forget, text us, 623-252-6670, or hit us up at TME Sports Show as well on X. He says, lack of a tan, thought I was petty. I cannot stand wrestlers who walk into the, unless it's part of your character, like you're an Irish character, something like that. I cannot stand wrestlers that do not take the time to hit up a tanning bed before they walk out, and they're just pasty white. It just have some pride for your craft, man. That's all I got to say. Call me petty if you want. It drives me nuts when they do that. It literally, you could have spent an hour in the tanning bed. Just got a bronzing. You don't have to be dark tan. Just so when you walk out, I don't have to adjust my television with how white you are. As a white guy, trust me. As a super pale guy, trust me. Doing us all a favor on that side. He also said, sounds like the Clippers did was very SMU-esque.
Well, and I'm looking at this. So Leonard signed a 3-year, $153 million deal.
Did not get the full amount that he could have gotten, by the way, in 2019.
And then they had the $28 million no-show endorsement deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
He signed a couple extensions since then, obviously, but yeah.
And then Clippers owner Steve Ballmer invested $50 million in aspiration.
Yeah. If I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Somebody comes to me and goes, "Hey, I need you to pay this guy so we can have him on our organization. But I need you to pay him another thing." I'd be like, "Well, that's to do nothing." I'd be like, "That's stupid." And then they go, "You're gonna pay him. We'll just do smaller. You're gonna pay him $100,000 a year to do nothing and not even show up." Well, I'm not gonna do that out of my own pocket. No. We're gonna pay you $300,000 a year to do it. Okay. No problem. Let's do that right now.
Yeah, because that's the number. $28 million is what Leonard was asking for. And then Ballmer invested $50 million.
Yeah.
So he basically doubled your money.
Yeah, and Ballmer on that ESPN thing, it cracks me up. He goes, he's all, they duped me too. And I'm like, you buy businesses, you sell businesses, you ran Microsoft for a lot of years. You need to fire your business people if somebody built you for $50 million because they were a fraud business. I would argue if somebody came to me and said, hey, we plant trees, we're a business of planting trees, I'd be like, you're a fraud business. Just off of that.
But if they said that to you, hey, you pay this guy $100 and we'll give you $300.
Do it in 2 seconds. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't care. I'm not going to be punished by it. I'm going to make some money off the deal and things like that. Yeah, I know, it's fascinating. Now, I'm mostly curious on what the NBA does not like to sweep things under the rug. They're the one league that doesn't hide things. Well, them, and now I'm going to say the Big 12 with that referee thing that I'm just so amazed that they did yesterday with the suspension of that crew that messed up. Not even in a Big 12 game, too, and they still suspended them. It is... I can't wait to find the answer on this, and I can't wait to see what the punishment is. Because make no bones about it. The other owners make sacrifices every day of the week that they're like, I can make a lot of money if I do this, but it's against our bylaws. I'm going to not, it's not going to go to the other teams, et cetera. It's not, and they probably pass up on those opportunities, and they could probably make millions of dollars doing them, and they have to pass on them.
Well,
then you find out about this.
It goes to the competitiveness, too. We touched on it last week when this first came out, the fact that, like the Suns have been hamstrung for the last year and a half because they're in the double, a second apron. And whatever. and so if you just circumvent all these things and you stay out of the apron,
yeah,
you can make trades, you can do those kind of things.
That's what I don't get. Why does Kawhi Leonard care where he gets paid from? Why does he need a $10 million endorsement deal from somebody? Is there a tax reason for that or something? Or like, why do you need somebody else to pay you an extra $10 million? Well, if you max out, like if you have the super max, you're not getting anything else.
Right.
It's like if you hear of LeBron doing this, like I'd just be disgusted at guys like LeBron. You're making $56 million a year.
And you have been for 25 years.
And you're like, I need ownership in I need to not invest in the Maple Leafs, but I need ownership in the Maple Leafs. Like, that's where you'd be like, all right, dude, now you're just taking advantage.
If it was LeBron, it would be a much wider covered story.
This is the other thing that I'm glad you brought that up. That shocks me. Because it's the Clippers, it's not as big of a story as it should be.
Right.
And I'll even go a step farther. I don't know if Steve Ballmer's liked by other owners because Steve Ballmer strikes me as the guy that walks into NBA ownership meetings, a la Jerry Jones, a la Robert Kraft, and basically goes, "Yeah, we're not doing that," and kind of forces his will on people. I think I saw somewhere where he has more money than every other NBA owner combined, but that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Not their team values, just what they made coming into the league and when they came in, type of a deal. I don't know if that's true. I read that somewhere and I kind of passed it off. But he is the richest team owner. Not even. But I mean, there've been rumors of stuff like this happening in up in the Bay Area for a while with Golden State. Those rumors have been out there too, folks. With that owner, who by the way also is a, $4 billionaire in real life and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see in times coming out there. But I wanted to just bring that stuff up to get that out of the way today because we got some college football stuff to do here today. And Dale, how old are you again? I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but let's reintroduce you to everybody out there. And
I'm looking at this. So this article has Steve Ballmer as net worth of $153 billion.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh.
You got Adelson in Dallas is $32 million.
I forgot about it. That's all. No.
$32 billion.
Oh, $32 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because they're that Sands casino thing. They're worth a lot.
Dan Gilbert $25 billion. Then it starts going down to the 12s, 11s. You could get through quite a few owners before you got to 153 billion.
That's right. Maybe it is all of them together. You're right. Well, isn't what's Ishbia worth?
He wasn't on the.
I know. Well, Dan Gilbert's worth so much more than Ishbia. They both do mortgage.
Yeah, maybe Gilbert charges more interest.
There's more money in mortgages to homes than there is in corporate side. I'm willing to bet. I could be wrong on this, just because of pure volume.
Right.
More people buy houses than people, start companies and buy buildings and stuff like that. But you're dealing with different dollar figures, but maybe that's why Dan Gilbert's more. But yeah, so maybe that was right. He is worth more than every owner.
Fairly close.
Combined. I just feel like Steve Ballmer just walks into the room and the NBA's like, "We want to propose this," and he's all, "No," and everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
Next.
He's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't hear you with all the money coming out of my ears." It's nauseating. But Dale, reintroduce yourself to everybody, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how old are you?
You want to know how old I am? I'm 63 years old.
Okay, I just wanted you to say it because I didn't want to look like I'm picking on you and stuff. You have 3 more years before you can retire and do your dream job out there.
I have to wait till 66 now, not 65.
66 is where I think that's the new norm for going after your dream job. I'll tell you what we mean here when we come back here on the main event.
Teaser.
And we're back here, main event. Don't forget, Scottsdale Christian Academy head coach Mike Sheahan's joining us at 9 o'clock here today. And maybe, I shouldn't say that. Maybe he gets an opponent that can keep up with them this week. I'll say that before he comes on. But Dale, what's your dream job you wanted to do your whole life?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Have a no-show contract.
Yeah, I know. I've always said, man, my job, I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to get a coaching contract in college or high school and just get that 3 to 5 year deal, and then just get fired in halfway through year 1.
Well,
I sit on my butt and collect it.
I would say you better go above the high school level.
No, college.
Yeah, because that $5,000 stipend ain't going to carry you a whole long way.
I was talking, I won't name him, but I was talking to a high school coach the other day, and he goes, "Hey man, I won't be able to talk to you and everything until about 5 or 6 p.m." And I go, "Yeah, no," no worries, man. You got practice or whatever?" And he goes, "No, I got my real job."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh yeah.
I'm like, and he goes, "Sometimes I get late. Sometimes I'm late to practice." And I'm like, "What? What?" And he has some success, folks out there. So it's interesting when that stuff happens and people just assume, right? No, it doesn't happen that way. But what about, throw him up here. His name is Kent Broussard, and this was over the weekend. I've been kind of saving it. I've been kind of like, this is kind of a good story, but hit me today where it's like something we could talk about. Freshman LSU, 66 years old, LSU band member here, Dale.
And he's playing the tuba?
I don't think he was a tuba. Was he the tuba?
Oh no, I see a tuba in front of me.
I saw him playing over the weekend, and I don't, because I was watching that game, and I don't remember as well. So he's a retired accountant as well. He first saw the Tigers play at age 9, 1968.
Wow.
Yes, made his marching band debut over the weekend there at Tiger Stadium. He's carrying full-time course load this semester because you have to be in school to be in there. I wonder if he's taking accounting, because that's almost not fair, right? He's 41 years older than anyone else in the band. I bet you he throws the big ragers. Not gonna lie to you.
Buys alcohol for a freshman.
He says, quote, "It's that dream I've had for 30 years to do this." And he says, "My slogan is, people retire, but dreams don't." That's fantastic.
I mean, I love everything
quote.
about it, but I promise you, if in 3 years I'm wanting to join a band, I'm playing the flute. Yeah, I ain't carrying a big tuba around.
Tubas don't have to walk as much, though, do they?
You still got to carry it around.
No, did Kobe, what'd you say? Did Kobe just say, yeah, they do? Yeah, that means Kobe played the tuba. Yeah, see, Kobe was on drumline. There you go. But yeah, no, a fantastic story, man. And I love the quote there. People retire, but dreams don't. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean I love people living their life. The only thing is, like I said, that tuba looks very heavy and bulky.
Did you see? I don't have the video for this, but in week 1 I retweeted it. You see the tuba player? He was playing, and dude was like yelling at him. It was like being a jerk to him, and so he just clocks the guy.
Oh, really?
And then he starts playing again. I put out on Twitter. I said, "What a rookie! A pro would have kept playing wild decking him from that side." But yeah, I mean that's fantastic, man. Good for old guys rule, man, when they're able to do that stuff.
What do you have? 20 years before you can do that?
I did that. I've already done that already, man. I left the corporate world. Started doing this stuff.
I'm talking about getting the marching band.
Oh, yeah, I would never do marching band.
I would hear you. I can already hear you bitching and moaning. Oh, my lower back hurts. Oh, my shoulders. Oh, yeah.
My shoulder does hurt.
Hey, drum or band major, can I just stand right here in this spot and you guys dance around me?
I'd be the twirly guy.
You
spin around.
You do one twirl and a half a spin.
Then I'd go down with a knee injury, whether it's real or not. I'd be like, oh, my knee. Yeah, no, it's good for him.
Yes.
What kind of life do you lead where your dream is to join a marching band?
Well, he's already done everything else.
That's the thing. I mean, what else are you going to do if that's your dream in college, right? To go back.
That's getting up early for practices.
Well, he gets up early anyway.
At 66.
He's got to get that malto meal and take the pills.
Prune juice.
What if he like farts as he walks down the thing? He always marching. Oh my God. I said that joke way too fast. Now we have 5 minutes to kill with me giggling for the next 10 minutes, Dale. Old people rule, man. That's awesome. Good for him. Ken Broussard.
Congratulations, Ken.
I wonder if like the band, who's the person in charge? The band what? You said it. A band director. I wonder if they can if he messes up, do they like yell at him or something? Or are they just like, sir? They have to like talk slower. You know, they have to yell. He's like, ah!
You just go.
I can keep these jokes going, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 66-year-old freshman. I wonder what dorm he lives in. That's what I want to know. Do his grandkids come visit him?
I think he lives off campus.
His grandkids come visit him.
Wow.
What I want to know is, in all seriousness, what I want to know is, does he always lived in Baton Rouge, or does it, like, because he's doing this now, did he have to move back to Baton Rouge? Nobody answered that question. I couldn't find that in all the articles I saw about it and things. I saw nobody talking about it. I'm assuming he had to live there, right? Do you go to your? Well, I don't even know if he's married, but do you go to your wife and go, "We're moving to Baton Rouge"? She's like, "Why?" And he goes, "I'm enrolling in college to be in the marching band."
Boy, oh boy.
And she's like, "You're doing what?" She's like, "What about my dreams?"
I bet he's in great shape.
He is actually. I saw a video. I think ESPN or I think it was ESPN, but somebody did like a video on him. Great shape, and he gets up and he walks every morning and does all that stuff. You're right, he does play too, but you are correct.
Just like you? Get up every
yeah,
morning and walk?
I do. I walk to the shower and then down the stairs and to my car and then sit down for a while. On that side, yeah.
No,
So
I love everything about it. I just pick a different instrument.
Yeah. Maybe.
Toby, how much does a tuba weigh?
20
Whoa.
to 30 pounds.
It's like carrying around a 3 or 4-year-old.
Hey, look, and let's face it. I'm going to apologize for the statement up front, but tuba players are usually a little chubby. This guy's skinny. You usually play the tuba for a specific reason. You can't be a lineman. You don't have football skills. How much trouble am I getting into in this segment is my question. Dale, don't take the headphones off. We have 7 minutes. We gotta keep these jokes going.
Steve McCollum at SMAC 500.
I took such a wholesome story and I've ruined
Yes.
it. I've ruined it. I wonder if he has that old person smell when he walks into the band room and everybody's just like,
Congratulations, Mr. Broussard.
Kent's here. Kent's here. Do they call him Gramps? Like, is that a joke?
I'm moving on. How
Does
about
he
Sam
get-
Levitt?
Does he get freshman? Does he get freshman bullied? Does he have to do freshman stuff? Does he have to carry the seniors tuba around into the locker room and stuff like that?
Hazed? Is he getting hazed?
Speaking of
Hazing.
getting hazed, we played that clip, of course. ASU, that cover zero play at the end of the game. They've ran it now in 2 games, and it's, ended up costing them with big plays and touchdowns they ultimately led to their demise, in a couple games.
No, in one game.
Well, the Peach Bowl, it did also.
Oh.
It did also.
Why do you look back when it's ASU, but when people try to look back for the Diamondbacks, you don't?
Because, look back at that World Series for the Diamondbacks, but you also have to remember what that season was before the run in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. The same season we have this year, same season we had last year, same season we had in the World Series year. So they went to the World Series that year. Good for them. But a lot of talk over it. We saw Kenny Dillingham's comments yesterday on the cover zero. I told you in the press conference, he said, I think I'd rather be in a cover 2 situation. Then we played the clip where he was like, look, it's a situation. We wanted to be aggressive, blah, blah, blah. And he explained it pretty well. Well, yesterday was the defensive coordinator, Brian Ward's turn to talk. And obviously he's going to be asked about going to that formation and making that play out there. Well, let's see what he has to say.
It's just one of those things in the moment, a lot happens, and we talk about the moment a lot. And the best thing that we can do as coaches is try to prepare our guys and get them ready for that moment. And, and then when it doesn't work, the only thing I can do is look at myself and go, hey, what do I got to do next time to get either, that play right and get 11 guys right or get, individuals just to be in the moment, before that play happens. So, it comes down to, hey, I go back and I reflect and I look back and I go, hey, in hindsight, what should I have done? But, whether we do that again the next time, it's all a matter of strategy. It's a matter of strategy and whatever the situation calls for.
They're so doing it again. He's doubling down. Next time they're in that situation, cover zero is coming again, folks.
Well, I'm going to be a little picky on his interview there, just like you always are. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on this. I would have loved to hear him say, as I do self-reflection, I've got to play to our personnel, and if our personnel can't get that coverage down, then I need to change that coverage.
You said it better than what I was going to say. To me, it sounded like he was blaming the players at the beginning. Not coming out and saying it's the players' fault. He was, but he's phrased it in the way of, we've got to make sure all 11 personnel are prepared for that play and they know what to do in that situation,
Yes.
etc. And it goes to the argument I brought up. So you said it more succinct than I was going to say it. But I even said it yesterday. The downside of that play call, no matter how right that play call is in that moment, the downside is to it, what could happen if the personnel doesn't perform to the proper level. And the downside is you're going to lose the game when they score a touchdown. If you're willing to risk it, fine. They obviously are. I would argue you knock it off. You'd win a couple more games, big games, if you don't do that type.
Well, what I'm also wondering when we heard Kenny's comments yesterday was the fact that, hey, if we don't get to the quarterback, you're expecting to give up 15 yards.
Yes.
I don't think there's any defense. I don't care if you call 11-man blitz where you're expecting that whatever it was, 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I tell you, well, that's the thing. But I think, isn't the criticism of a cover zero whenever you do it? What's the thing? When you blitz, you better get to that quarterback because it's going to be a disaster on the backside if you don't. And that's the whole point of an all-out blitz, is to get to that quarterback and mess everything up. Uh-oh. So, we all know that's the downside, that something disastrous can happen there. And I'm not knocking him from that front. I'm saying Brian Ward appears to be, in my eyes, the type of guy that's like, I don't have a problem with that play call. I'm going to call it again in the situation, and I'm comfortable with it. Now, it's my job to make sure the players perform better out there.
Well, you're not ever going to come out and go, you know what? We're never going to run cover zero again.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Now, maybe they will go, you know what? Either we need different guys running that personnel or, let's stay away from that.
Well, you could just say things like, and he kind of alluded to it. It's the situation, we're trying to get to the core. You have, folks, here's the secret about football. I will guarantee you, without knowing the ASU playbook, they have other blitzing plays to get to the quarterback. That leaves a safety in the back or a safety valve back there. They have plays like that. So why do you have to go from putting pressure on the quarterback and being aggressive to all the way to the most disastrous play if it doesn't work? Why can't you do something in the middle or something 3/4 of the way to there?
The one thing I would also look at is, and I didn't do this, was look at the blitz. Did somebody miss a gap? Were there two guys in one gap? Somebody blowing assignment? No. Was there a guy that should have been in the quarterback's face?
Well, yeah. So he got tripped up. One of the, I think it was the tight end. He was supposed to go inside the tight end, I guess, and the tight end stayed inside, so he had to go outside of him, and he got tripped up, and so he didn't get there. But that's what I mean. All it takes is. Well, people are talking a lot about the big throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Cardinals, and I'm switching the Cardinals here, but that long throw that wasn't completed, and everybody was blaming Kyler Murray for it. Even Kurt Warner came out and said that ain't Kyler Murray's fault.
Right.
Yeah, Kyler Murray couldn't anticipate where the safety was going to be when that play started, and he threw the ball to where he thought Marvin Harrison would be at. Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. couldn't be there because of the way the safety reacted. And Kyler Murray had already thrown that ball. So Kurt Warner's contention was Kyler Murray threw the ball to the right spot. Marvin Harrison was running the route. He got knocked off of it. That's just what happens on the football field. But you can't anticipate that stuff. But at the same time, you have to anticipate that stuff. So a cover zero blitz to get there, okay, the guy got tripped up. Well, he wasn't supposed to get tripped up. Yeah, but he did.
Yeah, but if you call plays anticipating something going wrong.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Well, no, but like I said, there's other blitz calls you can call that leaves you a safety valve in the back. So they don't get a chunk play or a touchdown call or something like that from that perspective. I like Brian Ward. I think he's fantastic. It's just, and like I said, these are younger coaches going through the same thing the players are going through. A lot of attention, a lot of expectations on them, and a lot of that stuff, right? And it's going to be a growing curve for them as well in those situations. And I honestly believe that's what we're seeing right now. His response right there doesn't give me any confidence. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, oh, he's one of those coaches that's just going to dig in. He's going to run a cover zero at an end of a game later on just to show he can do it.
And it might work.
And it might. If it would have worked, we'd all be praising him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, love the aggressiveness.
If he wouldn't have been tripped up on the line, it would have been a beautiful play call. Or if the two cornerbacks wouldn't have got crossed up with the pattern and things like that, we'd be praising that play right now. And that's the way football goes, though, a lot of the times out there. So when we come back, well, Coach Sheahan's going to be joining us here as well. 2-0 on the season, Dale. Turns out it wasn't you that got him there.
Are they 2-0 or 3-0?
3-0. 3-0. Two road games.
Just because you don't go to a game doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Those were far West Valley games.
It doesn't mean they didn't happen.
No.
They still count.
It's not true. I was watching the game film last night, actually.
Were you making notes for the guys?
I was making notes, not on the app form. No, I
Be more aggressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Lower your pad level.
All you see is like 12 question marks. My favorite's when I'm like, what kind of play call is this? Come on back, folks. Coach Sheahan joining us next. We're back here. Second hour main event. Wednesdays means Mike Sheahan, head coach, Scottsdale Christian Academy, coming up in just a second. But first, I wanted to say Robert said, I know I messed this up, Robert. He says, you got to say after the break or be back in 2 and 2. When I did that teaser there. Yeah, you're right. I like the 2 and 2 one. I'm going to have to bring that back here.
Who was that? What game show host was that?
That was, wasn't that Love Connection or one of those type shows?
Chuck Willery?
Yeah, Chuck Willery, maybe? Yeah, he's like, we'll be back in 2 and 2. I like that better than that. Yeah, the Be Back one. I was trying to do the American Idol one. I was never an American Idol fan for that stuff, so I screwed it up. My apologies. Robert also says, since he's retired, meaning that LSU guy, did you ever think that dude enrolled at LSU to get out of the house? The band thing could be a ruse.
Most husbands and wives get along better when there's a little distance.
Dale, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, maybe we can ask Mike Sheahan.
And then, before we bring Mike on, he also says, Coach Sheahan's going to give us a breakdown of the game on Monday nights? Well, yeah, we'll ask about that. Let's do it. Mike Sheahan's up next. The 3-0 Scottsdale Christian Academy Eagles mustache is doing its thing. Mike, how you doing, man?
How are you guys today?
Are we going to have to see that thing the whole season?
I think so. Like, what's funny is, like, I'm not even looking at anything. I'm just looking at Dale's reaction when my video pops up, and just like his utter disgust.
You look like you lost a little bit of weight, though.
I have. I've gained a little bit back this week. It's been a good week of eating, but otherwise, I'm down a little bit. When the scoreboard doesn't work and you're stressing about stupid stuff, that's what happens.
I was driving by there last night. Took my grandson to football practice. It was working last night.
Oh yeah, this is the first night we had a JV game last night, and honestly, it's better than I actually expected. It's awesome. It is actually legit. It's probably the biggest one in the state, which is crazy that we have it, and it's pretty cool. Like not live video, but a bunch of videos and scoreboards working well, and the music is good. And I was running the 2s and 3s on it, so it was obviously well done last night.
Wow.
I remember that first home game. People were like, "Start the clock," and then I heard that. Then I heard that because they had a temporary one out there. And then I heard the guy come down that was running, and he goes, "It keeps freezing. I don't know what else to do." He was like telling some other parents and everything.
Yeah, it was a rough. We tried to rush it in that first week because we had got it, I think, the Friday before off the boat, honestly, and it was just a rush to kind of get it done. Didn't get done, but it's done now. It's done now. How come Steven, your name's totally capitalized and Dale and I's are not? Is there something about that?
Power play.
Just look at the top of the screen here too. Look at that. That's why, Mike, right there. That's why.
Just Stephen McCullough.
Yeah.
And then
I don't
Dale and Mike.
I don't know who developed these 3 years ago when we came. We're redoing all of our stuff because it's funny you call me out on that because actually it bothers me and it's been bothering me for a long time.
Oh,
and so we're working on new intros and stuff like that. And
he's been working on.
It's supposed to be Big C, Little C, Big C.
That's the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean he's been working on it for 2 years, working on it. Yeah. All right, hey. Let's go back to last week. It's always a trepidatious week for you as the school goes up for retreat. You don't get to have regular practices. I don't even know what to. First of all, tell us what your practices were like last week, if any.
It's honestly like the most frustrating thing as a coach. It's probably amazing as a player, right? So it's we had because we go up to Lost Canyon, which is awesome. Go to a retreat up there and lots of worship, lots of like amazing stuff for the school. Football wise, it's not necessarily the best. We had a practice Monday night, and then Tuesday we had one in the morning before school, which is hard to get those in because they went up to retreat Tuesday night. We had nothing after Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. Thursday, we were given an hour to kind of have a walkthrough practice, and it's on a grass field. You were not allowed to bring cleats up there. But what we did is instead of having practice, we had a shelter in place because of all the lightning. So we had 0 practices up there. So I went up there and my job up there is just to make sure our kids aren't acting a fool or being, they're actually great kids. I don't have to worry about it this year.
Yeah, I
But
say years past you've had problems.
it was actually a nice time for me this year. It wasn't the most stressful. But we'll go up there and kind of do lots of fellowship, all that stuff. The bad thing about that is, or the whatever, one of the things that comes with going to retreat is they all come back sick because they live in the bunks, they live in the dorms, they're in there with 12 kids. Weirdly, these kids like sleep in the same bunks, like not even the same, like not the separate level bunks. Like they'd love to snuggle up. So whatever that is,
Yeah.
anyways, no judgment.
Move
That's
on.
what it's high school boys, right? But they're so I bring up like tons of vitamin C. I get those vitamin packs, and every meal I'm passing them out. They're eating vitamins, and there's still a couple kids that got sick last week, but we got through it pretty well, better than we have in the years past. And honestly, it might have been. I hate to say this. I'm gonna hate to say this as a coach. It's gonna be something hard to say. It might have been good for him to get some rest because we came out on Saturday because the game got moved to Saturday because of retreat, and the kids had some energy, man. We were they were not necessarily being nice. They were a really physical football team, and we kind of came and hit them in the mouth. And our boys took pride in a lot of pancake blocks and the way they were hitting and the way they were playing. So I think maybe the break was good for him as a young man.
And
It's hard. Yeah.
and no weird injuries. It seems like for about 10 years in a row, somebody came back with an injury that from goofing around doing something.
They're on the boys team,
Yeah.
no, but the girls flag football team had like two twisted ankles from literally setting up like games. They do a survivor type thing, and they got twisted ankles from setting up games. So we didn't get the injury bug this time there, but the school did. We did have one of our players go down a day before on Monday, unfortunately for the season, but that was before retreat. So.
Okay, and you played Bourgade.
Yep.
Another
They were 2-0 and tough kids.
Another shutout for Paul Clark and his boys.
No, he didn't get the shutout.
No.
It was one of those games. I absolutely respect to the coach over there at Boulder. Sorry, I keep saying Boulder Creek. I'm used to Boulder Creek, but Brigade. They were 2-0. They're a good football team. I think we just kind of came ready to play. We played a lot. We had a lot of kids play that night, so we wanted to make sure that we got a lot of depth and get a lot of stuff going on because just like what happened with Veritas last year, we try to get these kids as much as possible. So, shutouts are cool, but shutouts aren't cool to do to high school kids all the time either because they're out there working all week and they're working their butts off. It's hot out and, they're playing. We're pretty good. We're pretty good 2A team, and we want to respect the game and respect the kids on the other side. Played some younger kids. They got a touchdown. We didn't get a shutout, but who cares, right? That's why I keep telling Coach Clark, it's great to have that. But at the same time, we're working with young men, and if we can help build some more on the other side of the field from us, that's what we should be trying to do too.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't think you were trying to run it up. I saw like 56 to nothing.
No,
But
55-7. They scored late, right? I haven't made it through all the game film yet, but yeah.
Yeah, they scored late. We had 3 special teams touchdowns. So Dale, you can respect that. Dominic Dickerson took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. And then they went to punt their first time. Bad snap. It was not a Hellestrate snap. Bad snap. Rolled back there. Kid picks it up, punts it maybe 8 yards. Doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Luke White, our defensive end, catches it, goes and scores. So that's the second. So we were up 14-0 with like I think a minute 30 into the game. And then we had another special teams touchdown. Dominic Dickerson. They had a punt. We were yelling poison. He saw an opportunity because everybody slowed down. Ball hopped right into his hands, and the kid so fast just took off and went and scored too. So 3, we were trying to run it up. I think we only had like 24 plays of offense. We only threw the ball 4 times. We wanted to work on our run game last week, and we were able to do that. It was nice. Defense played well too.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my big question here. Looked like running game was your motif. I made it through about just after halftime here on the game film there, but it looks like running was a fact. Was that just a strategy going in? Was it because you had such a big lead and obviously, get to the running clock and, not run it up type of a situation? What was the philosophy behind that?
I think a little bit of both, right? So it's like one of those things where Everett Salazar is such a hard worker. He's played 2 of the better defenses against the run the first 2 weeks of Pima and Tonopah. Like Tonopah, right, whatever you want to say about Tonopah, they're tough kids and they're tough. They run that 46 defense. It's hard to run the ball. So I feel like Everett, I think he's got 6 or 7 touchdowns now, but he's had to really, it was like 50 yards, 50 yards. He was able to go for like 110. So we want to give Everett he's still got his sea legs from his injury, last year. Want to get him some more carries, kind of get him up over 100, get him some touchdowns, work on the run game. We're working on a little bit more of a spread run game. So instead of staying so condensed, we're kind of spread it out because our wide receivers are well and kind of pick your poison. We can RPO off the stuff. So the RPO was the handoff this week because of how they were playing the wide receivers. But I think we're just trying to get the run game going a little bit more than we had the last couple of weeks.
Really quick, I have to do a production thing here. Hey, Kobe, in the email, there should be a picture in there. If you could grab that and let me know when that's ready. Stay tuned for this. Stay tuned for this.
That sounds like
the second
Dale,
thing is
up, Dale.
what do you have to do? What do you have to do as a head coach when you're running the ball a lot and all of that stuff? You have to talk to the quarterback and the receivers, any divas on this team that you have to talk to, where they're kind of disappointed after the game. They didn't get a lot of opportunities.
You usually have to, but I was very happy with this team. I was very actually Sean only threw the ball 4 times.
Yeah.
But actually, we do these things called crosses, right? So we put crosses in the back of our helmets for good plays, good attitude. Not necessarily for stats, but for just doing the game right. And we gave Sean an extra cross. It's like the Buckeyes that the Buckeyes get for the Ohio State. So we do a cross, and I gave Sean one just for poise and for like continuing to go. When he was only throwing the ball 4 times, he was still just as excited to hand the ball off, right? So it was our wide receivers. One of the emphasis that we're working on. The week prior against Tonopah, they blocked really bad. And honestly, if you don't hey, no block, no rock, right? So you don't get the ball unless you block. So our biggest thing was we were talking about trying to get the wide receivers to block a little bit better. And that was an emphasis of this game. And I think the boys just, it was a team win. And I love that we spread the ball around a lot. If you look at our touchdowns, it's everybody. If you look at our wide receivers catching the ball, it's like 6, 7, 5, 4, 3. It's not like last year was like 42 and 13. We're spreading the ball around a little bit. It's a little team atmosphere, and we didn't really have any divas. They were more excited about their blocks than they were about trying to get catches, which is we have that going on. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Sean was 2 for 4, 64 yards, two receptions. Kyle Olafson, 1 catch, 36 yards, and then Caleb Murphy, 1 catch, 28 yards. In a touchdown. Yeah. So it's hard to be upset if you perform that way with limited touches. But yeah. Hey, really quick
it's a bummer.
Before we go anywhere else,
too. Yeah.
Next time Dale makes fun of you about his mustache, I'm going to send you this here. Just check this out here.
Oh yes, dude.
There we go. That's a mustache. You can see it.
That's called the catfish. That's called the catfish. Look at how it comes around the lips right there. Like
yeah,
right there.
Yeah, but that was back in that was back in the early '90s when mustaches were in. Not 2025.
Was that taken in Maricopa County Courthouse?
Yeah.
What is that? Where is that?
I said, hey, can I get my jersey before you process me?
I don't even think that's fully grown in. It looks a little patchy there and stuff. I don't know.
There's the whole middle's missing right there. That's weird.
I gotta thank Robert. Robert sent that in Twitter.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, that is amazing.
It's like I tell the young kids, remember when you got all these pictures on your phone, internet lives forever. You make a stupid face, and somebody will pull that up 40 years later. So
yeah, it's warranted. It's warranted.
All right, I didn't mean to get away from the thing, but that was sent in. We had to address that situation.
Before we move on to this week, you mentioned JV played last night. To talk about a little bit about that game and your young guys and how they're coming along.
Honestly, it's awesome. I think. Our young guys are coming along well. We played Gilbert Christian, which is a division up within us last night, and we won 46-7. The kids played really well. We only ran out, I think, maybe like 22, 23 kids, and we're trying to – it's almost we got a little bit better of a split of varsity and JV nowadays, but at the same time, like these JV kids, these younger kids, we all practice together all week. So they're practicing against varsity, and they're practicing against our dudes every week. So I feel like – their skill level has really grown this year. So when they get into these games with the kids their own age, like I feel like their game speed's a little bit faster than theirs. They might not be as big or as fast, but I feel like the way they're having to play the game and practicing against our varsity, and honestly, like the secondary for JV, has to go against probably one of the best 2A wide receiver groups. And it's only going to make them better. And then our defensive line has to go against our offensive line and linebackers. So I feel like I'm really proud of the JV kids. They have a good time. JV football is one of the most fun things to watch. It is a blast, right? Like there's so many messes and then there's something good. And then there's a mess and then there's something good. But the effort that the boys had and just our team speed compared to Gilbert Christian last night, I felt like it was a little bit better than Gilbert Christian's. And I'm super happy to see that because these young boys work hard and they get to pay off. You know, they got different, I think 3 or 4 kids scored touchdowns, 3 or 4 interceptions. We kept the penalties low for a JV game, which is tough, usually that's the problem. And they don't get a lot of time to break up. So we practice as a team. And then JV never really gets a lot of time to be cohesive. They kind of break up the day before, run their offense, and go into the game. But I think they're doing pretty well, and the program's in a good spot with these young boys.
You want to mention their head coach? Is he doing an okay
Yes,
job,
yes.
or is it just all the kids?
No, it's like I don't like to mention myself. Yes, Coach Taylor is doing an amazing job, which is happens to be Helastrade's son-in-law. Coach Taylor's doing an awesome job. Good thing about Alex is honestly he's like locked into what he's doing and he cares about these boys and he loves these boys. He's not that football coach that's kind of come out here to get his he's not worried about himself being 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-0. It's never about him, man. He loves these kids. He's the one that's staying after practice, getting the extra work. Like he's a great head coach, man. Once he gets his full opportunity, I hope I can hand it off to him someday because he's awesome. He is. And then Austin Salazar, and then we got a new coach too, but Austin Salazar, which is Everett's brother, is helping Alex, and that combo, they're like Mutt and Jeb. I think they're awesome together, and they got those guys going, and they're becoming more physical and faster, and at the same time, just having a great time.
So I'm assuming they're undefeated as well this year.
They are. They
So-
are. There. I
so-
think the program as a whole has given up 13, 20 points total in 5 games, and I think we're over 300 points scored. It's pretty good.
And they were undefeated last year as well. So
Yep.
right there. So
Yep.
Robert also likes your no block, no rock.
Yeah,
saying
right.
as well.
Yeah,
So.
that's what it is. No block, no rock. If you can't block for the dudes that are trying to get it open, get you guys open by having a good run game, then we're not throwing you the ball. That's just the way it is. Cool thing about SCA is we might have divas, but they get grounded really quick because it's a team game, and I feel like if you can buy into the team, it helps so much more.
So we don't spend a lot of time talking about your defense here. So just real thing here. On I've noticed with the last 2 away games on the other side of town, so my car can't make it. But your
Is it back from
defense
Mexico? Is your car back from Mexico?
we need charging stations for me to get there. But the problem is Saturday night, I was like, I'm gonna go out there, and I was like, man, this ASU game's huge. I got to watch this on a big screen.
Oh, you got to watch out.
Not on my phone, because I was like, I do it on my phone. But your defense hits hard. They fill those holes. If somebody gets into the open field, they're following. Their pursuit is good and things like that. Talk a little bit about your defense and what they're doing out there. In these first 3 games.
I think, well, first of all, I need to make sure I talk about the coaches. They'll call me out, but Coach Clark does an amazing job with the defense coordinator for varsity. He's in tune with everything. He's a militant guy. He's a military guy. So he's got them in tune. I am the one thing I was a little bit worried about going into the season was the defense. And it's actually the least of my worries right now. I think, the last 2 teams we played have given us a compliment about being very physical. And if you can take that, that's probably one of the biggest compliments a program or a coach can get is talking about how physical your defense is. Everybody has a hard time trying to find a weakness in it. Now there are weaknesses, right? They're high school kids. They're going to make errors. But their effort makes up for those errors. These kids are flying around as fast as possible. They celebrate each other. It's not one kid trying to get 100 tackles and worry about his stats. They are so excited for each other, and we got 11 kids that are playing pretty well together. My biggest compliment to our boys, obviously physicality. Second biggest compliment is our communication. So our communication is actually huge. Our safety from Caleb Murphy down to Martine. Martine gets everything down to the defensive line. The defensive line is tapping their helmets, knowing what we got. We're pretty complex for 2A. Decent amount of blitzes, decent amount of coverages. We switch into a three-man front to a four-man front from an over to an under. So I think they've done a great job of being mentally in tune on this team. And I think our defense, Coach Clark kind of prides himself. He wants to have the best defense in 2A. And then when we put the backup kids in, he wants that to be the second best defense in 2A. So I feel like these kids are working their butts off, and the mental part of the game they're really clocked into. They get about an hour and a half of film by Monday every week, and it's not on our film. We make sure they're watching the opponents and know their opponents, and I think that's huge. And I think the boys are pretty bought in right now.
Coach Clark is militant and in the military, isn't he? That's how you start us
Yeah,
off. He is militant and he's in the military.
Yeah, so he was a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
So he was a Navy SEAL. So SCA is a great place, but we got to make sure he doesn't tell all his stories. It's one of those things.
It's kind of interesting. Can you imagine him in a wetsuit? I mean,
not anymore. But I'll tell you what.
Dale said that, Coach. Dale said that.
I know, it's okay. I'll tell him, man. I love, he has this belly on him. And it's okay. We'll be having, when you got to get back behind the line, he'll be back behind the line. One of my favorite jokes is hey, your belly's got to come too.
Yeah.
He'll be standing there. His feet will be in the coach's box, but his belly is almost into the field. So I always got to tell him to watch out for the ref. But that dude, he's awesome. He's been a friend of mine forever. He's another Kingman guy, which we don't like to say that very often, but he cares about the kids, does a great job. But yeah, he was a Navy SEAL, and he's got some great stories. He had a great story about, if we got a second, talked about, because we had a retreat last week, right? So we talked to the boys. He talked about when he had a lieutenant one time come talk to him when they were on a mission. It didn't matter how tired you are, if you had 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 7 hours, 8 hours. As soon as that door opens on the helicopter, you got to be ready to fight, right? So you jump out, you don't have time to wake up, right? So he told the whole story about a lieutenant came and talked to his platoon, and he kind of talked to the boys. We were going to retreat the whole time, but as soon as you open up the helicopter door, you got to be ready to go. You can't land and take your time to get ready, because that's how you lose. That's how you die in war, right? So it's he put that together, and he's awesome, man. The stories are awesome, and he's a great dude for us.
Who do you got? Who do you got this week? Before we let you go,
Glendale Prep, which is a good football team. They're extremely well coached. They got, I would say, across the board, they've got the best athletes that we're going to see so far after the first 4 games. Really good coach team. Great kids too. I've met a couple of them over the years, and super good kids, hardworking kids. We did 7-on-7 against them. I think in January, and they're hyped up to play us. They're excited. They're a really good football team.
Well, they're 2-1 coming into this year, into the game on Friday night, right? And you're back home, scoreboard maybe, but you're back home as well.
Hey, I hope it works. Like I said, or you'll be holding a little flipper.
Yeah.
So it's one of the
I got bad news for you. You're going to have to win without me this week, because I got I have a senior, and he's got an ROTC senior thing out there in Queen Creek.
Well,
so
fun.
I got to go to that
awesome.
again this week here. So, but so hey, first home game I haven't been in 2 years, Dale. So
well, great. Now we're gonna lose, right?
Pressure's on. Is all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
And if Chambers did want me to give the breakdown of the Bears game, Bears won for 3 quarters, sucked for 1, and that's what happens in the NFL.
Well, that's what I tweeted at you when you came at me. I said, man, I felt like they took their foot off the pedal. What's your opinion on that as a Bears fan? I thought they were oh, we've won this. It's a team. They dominated it, and they were we've won this. We don't have to do anything else. And then, of course, they got come back on. That was my thought on it. Your thoughts?
I think the more cohesive team won, and the team that had 14 wins last year just knows how to win, and the Bears didn't know how to finish. So I feel like the Vikings just kind of put it together at the end, started doing the right thing. There was a couple phantom really bad calls, like the holding call on Darnell Wright.
Yeah.
That was extremely bad. That was a scoring drive. And then the hands of the face on 3rd and forever, which wasn't hands of the face, is in his chest. There's a couple bad calls, but you know what? If you're 14 wins the year before, and the NFL's, partly scripted. So if they want the Vikings to win, they're trying to do it. So, I mean, the Cowboys won a couple in a row.
Wow.
They're worried about Netflix specials in, 2025.
Mike's onto something.
Yeah.
Dale makes fun of me. He's like, WWE's the stupidest thing on the planet. It's all fake. And I go, it's not any more fake than the NFL is.
So when is when's the NFL going to say, hey, they said in 85, we'll let the Bears have their year? When's the next time they're going to do that?
That's hilarious because Holly and I were legit talking about that because she's like, oh, it's all scripted, which is, people believe that, people don't, whatever it is. I said that same thing. I said, the Bears are a great franchise. They've got a great following. Like, why are they not in the script? And she brought up a good point, which is crazy. We talked about, I think, yesterday or Sunday or whatever it was. She said, because people will like the Bears no matter what. They don't need to be scripted into the program. No matter what, it's like the Cubs and the Bears will stay at the forefront. They'll always have the fans. They don't need to be in the script. Like, who cared about the Chiefs for a long time? Now the Chiefs are one of the best teams. Who cared about the Patriots for a long time? Now the Patriots a long time. What about the Packers and the Bears and the Cowboys? Like, now that it's scripted, I really don't think so. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying.
Well,
it's like, if it were scripted, why even do those teams? Because they're going to have the fans anyway.
I've actually argued that the Major League Baseball has a problem because the Cubs won that World Series. Like, their fan base has completely changed since they won it. They're not the lovable losers anymore.
Mike, were you
stuff like that?
Were you alive in '85?
Yes, I was alive in '85. I have the whole DVD set. I watched.
Well, the DVD set's different. Your parents could have bought that.
Yeah, I know why. I went to the Fiesta Bowl luncheon, 3 weeks ago? Jim McMahon talked. It was awesome. It was a good little talk.
Did you fanboy him? Did you go up and give him a hug?
I went and shook his hand, but I shook his hand about something, not about football. That's all.
Okay.
So it was something else.
Well, we got to do something. So the team guys that watch this, your dad that watches this, and everybody and the coaches that watch this, think of something to do a bet here where when it comes true, you have to do the Super Bowl shuffle in front of everybody, and let me know when that is so we can record it. That's all.
If we win again, if we go for a three-peat, which is probably the hardest thing in sport, which everybody knows, I will do the Super Bowl shuffle, but there's no way in heck I'm doing it prior because that just creates bad juju. But if we win, if we're blessed to be able to do that, which it's going to be the hardest road, it's going to be harder than any other year, which is how it happens. I'll do it after that, but we'll see. That's a long ways away. I don't know if I'm gonna have to worry about it. Odds are in my favor to not do it, but we'll see what we got.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but '85 is my rookie year, and our first preseason game was against Chicago. Yeah. And I'm out there playing against a lot of these dudes, and I'm like, if this is what the NFL is like, I don't belong here. Only find out
I couldn't imagine.
Only to find out that, no, they were a pretty special group, and not everybody was the '85 Bears. So
yeah, but that's a tough first one because in the preseason the guys played more, right?
Yes.
Like they didn't sit them out. It was real football back. Right. They weren't messing around. There was no series on, series off type thing. Yeah.
I could only imagine Dale's ready to hang up. He's like he's calling back home, going,
I call Dad.
Yeah, get that room ready. I'm coming home.
Here's my jersey at halftime. Richard Van, Steve McMichael, all these. You're good. You guys can deal with them.
Well, Coach, Glendale Prep this weekend, back at home. Hopefully the scoreboard's working. I'll be paying attention to it from afar, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You have an awesome week, all right?
All right, you too, man. Thank you very much. And, of course, everybody else.
You too, Dale.
Oh, yeah. I talked over him. Sorry about that.
You just talk over. He doesn't have anything good to say.
Come on back, folks. Dale's taking off to play some golf. I'll get you through. Day Baseball Diamondbacks. We just got the lineups up. I just retweeted that for you. And we got some other odds and ends I'll go through here. So come on back. It's the main events. And I'm back here at the main event. Of course, Dale's going to go take off and play a little bit of golf here on this Wednesday. So I got you for the rest of the show. Basically, folks, he didn't want to talk Diamondbacks. So he's like, I'm out of here. We're going to talk Diamondbacks. I'm out of here. Pretty much how it went that we're dealing with here for him. Fun times around here, right? With everything going on. But other NFL news out there, I found this interesting. The Cowboys came out, and they're having Clowney come into their facilities and working him out. And the way it was phrased on Twitter, as you look at it, is it said, Cowboys are in the market for pass rushing. Okay. If only they had a pass rusher on their roster in the offseason, that could have happened to him. I told you guys when Jerry Jones made the trade of Micah Parsons, I said the most fun thing to watch this year is going to be how, because they said they want to have run stop. They need to learn how to stop the run. Well, it's going to be fun to watch the Cowboys struggle to stop the run, and then now their pass rush has gotten worse. So it's going to be fun. After week one, they're in the pass rush market right now. So just a little bit of irony that I like to see out there, and it's kind of fun to see that stuff happen to teams when they make declarations like that and not to go through that. Other things really quick in the NFL side, then we'll move to the baseball, talk Diamondbacks playoffs. If you were holding on any hope for Diamondback playoffs, well, yeah, I mean, it's everything but the last shovelful over the top of them here. But the Broncos, I want to talk a little bit about them. I don't know what world we live in with the amount of money that these NFL owners have today, where stadiums are just becoming throwaway stadiums. If you haven't heard, the Bears are now telling their season ticket holders they're moving their state. They're going to build a new stadium. It's going to be in a different part of the town, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, it's been renovated. Soldier Field's been renovated several times to make it modernized, but it's still got old bones. Nothing like a new stadium, even with the remodel and all of that. Okay, I can understand upgrading those stadiums there. But the Broncos plan to build a privately funded stadium over in Burnham Yard, which is a historic area over there in that Denver area. And they're going to do it privately, so that's fine. If you want to build your own private stadium, go right ahead. No public funds, cool. Go do it, right? They plan on it opening in 2031, right? So 6 years to get it all done and built, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't know, they play at what used to be Sports Authority Field. Now it's Empower Field at Mile High. They've only been there since 2001. So 24 years right now. It's going to be 30 years when they move into the new stadium from that side. Mile High Stadium, where they played, was built in 1960, and they obviously played in that until 2000. 40 years. Is 30 years the life we're getting out of these stadiums now? Like we heard all that talk with the Diamondbacks. That stadium's 30 years old. And Diamondbacks are like, we need a new stadium. We need all these improvements. We need this. We need that. We need this. We need all this stuff. It's not like you can just pop up, like if you're a business, right? And you're like, oh, this the space we're in is old and messed up. We're just going to move to a newer space. Or we're going to build a building, a smaller building that's going to take us, a year to pop up or whatever. These stadiums are becoming throwaway type stadiums around the league. And we're not talking small amount of money on these deals either for these stadiums. I have not been in what I still call it Sports Authority Field, but I haven't been in there since probably, oh my goodness, has to be 2014, 2015 timeframe is the last time I was in there. I don't know what kind of condition it's in and stuff like that, but a 30-year stadium, right now, a 20-year-old stadium should not be, to the point where you need to replace it at that time as well. So, yeah, the Broncos announced this yesterday for that. Now, if an owner wants to, if his lease is up at a stadium and he wants to build his own stadium, I ain't going to argue with that either, And don't forget, Broncos are owned by the Walmart heirs out there. So, very, very deep pockets for these guys, for them as well. So, they said, here we go. I wanted to find the exact quote that they put out there in terms of the stadium. It's going to have a retractable roof, which I think is why most people want new stadiums. Buffalo's going to stay outdoors. I enjoy that. I don't like Cleveland. It's going to have a roof on it when they build their new stadium out there. My philosophy on football. Now, keep in mind, roofs, etc., they're not for the football players or the football. They're for you, the fan. Cardinal Stadium has a roof and a retractable roof, not for the players, for us, the fans. Makes it more enjoyable to go to. People won't not go because it's hot, right? Things like that. So everybody's kind of moving, into that side. So new retractable roof there for them. So there'll be no more of those snow, minus 10-degree wind chill factor games at the end of the year. And they're in Denver that they happen all the time. The Bears are going to have that fixed roof stadium in Arlington Heights. They're hoping to have that done by 2031 for them as well. I told you Cleveland's having a new indoor stadium. Not retractable roofs, fixed roofs for those stadiums. Broncos want to go retractable at that time. And as we know here in Arizona, That roof does not open very often. Even the Diamondbacks, yeah, it's a fantastic thing, but they don't open it very often once they are in there on that side. Yes. So, they have to do this because basically, the current stadium where the Broncos play, once winter comes, you can't do anything at that stadium. So it sits vacant. Putting a roof on it means you can have concerts, premium events. Most importantly, the Super Bowl can come in early February when it's beyond cold in Denver, for instance, or Cleveland, and things like that. So that's why they're going that rate as well for where they are. So here's the other thing. It's about a mile away, which doesn't sound like a lot in downtown Denver. It's not a lot of space here. Empower Field is basically throw a rock distance from where Mile High Stadium used to be back in the day. I think it's a parking lot now, if I remember correctly, right? But they're moving this new stadium about a mile away. Bears moving to Arlington Heights, which is nowhere near downtown. They're in Chicago as well. Cleveland moving to an area outside of downtown, right there on the bay for Cleveland as well. So not only is it that you're building these new stadiums, you're taking the culture, you're taking the, several decades old fan base, you're taking that whole area where they're used to going to that area, they like that area, etc., and you're moving it to newer, fresher areas, partly because of land, but that land's not cheap, and that's the sad part about doing these moves is you're going out of the areas where, you've been at for a while. From that. And by the way, according to the Denver Post, the final price tag for this venture, and it's privately funded, going to be completely privately funded, they're saying $4 billion just for this stadium. Matt Ishbia bought the Suns for $4 billion. Or his group did. Now that's going to be one stadium in the NFL for the Broncos. Throwaway stadiums in the NFL, folks. What we're dealing with out there, and it's not good. Major League Baseball stuff as we wrap up this show. Of course, yesterday, Diamondbacks lost. Womp, womp. That lineup yesterday was brutal for Zach Gallen. I mean, when I saw the lineup, I was like, what is happening with that lineup? But before we get into that, other good news around Major League Baseball. For those of us that are Major League Baseball fans, playoffs are coming. Yankees lost yesterday. Mets lost yesterday. The Giants are going to pass the Mets and make the playoffs and knock the Mets out just because they're playing the Diamondbacks, the way it's looking right now. Giants are on the outside looking into that last wild card spot with the Mets. I've always thought the Mets were going to make it because nobody was going to catch up there. But I also thought the Giants would have to, would get beat up a little bit going into it. They're super hot right now, no doubt about that. They had that big slide about a month ago or so. But Kyle Schwarber, well, he joined Ryan Howard as the only Phillies to hit 50 home runs in a season. That's 50 home runs in a season right there. By the way, some other stats coming up here, but Aaron Judge, he passed Yogi Berra for fifth most as a Yankee. He hit his 359th home run yesterday. They lost, what was that final score there? 12-2 or something ridiculous like that. By the way, only 3 more home runs for Aaron Judge. And he passes Joe DiMaggio for fourth place as well for them, for the Yankees. Those are some big heavyweight names, short porch or not. You still got to, if it was as easy as that, everybody would be up where Aaron Judge is hitting Yankee home runs as well, if it was that easy to do from him. So Kyle Schwarber with his 50 home runs, second only home runs by a Philly in a single season. There. So Ryan Howard has 58 home runs, most home runs by a Philly in a single season. Okay, Ryan Howard. That's the second most career home runs as a Philly at 58. Who's number one out there? I'll let you think about it for 1 second here. So, who's that only Philly that has more career home runs than Ryan Howard? 58 is the number. Ryan Howard is in second place. Total. So he has 382. I should give you this fact. Ryan Howard has 382 total home runs as a Philly. Yeah. Who has more home runs than Ryan Howard as a Philly? Probably screwed up the whole question and everything. Do. I was shocked by this. 382 home runs is what Ryan Howard has. I wasn't shocked by who did it. Mike Schmidt, by the way, is the answer. What shocked me the most, Ryan Howard has 382 home runs as a Philly. Mike Schmidt has the leader there. 548 home runs for him. They're not even close. That's a big gap. That's a huge gap between those guys. I just floored by that number from Mike Schmidt there. I loved Mike Schmidt. He was fun to watch. Hit a lot of home runs when I was a kid and all of that stuff. But I was kind of floored by that gap and the difference there between those guys. Right now, Jonathan Gannon speaking for the Arizona Cardinals. See what he has to say here today so far. I mean, Drew Prenzing yesterday's press conference was, I'm just not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his play calling. I'm not a fan of most of his play designs. I'm not a fan of when they're called. And I think he, a lot of times, holds back this offense a little bit with his draw plays. Like if a negative play happens, he goes conservative. But anyway, I digress. So we'll see what Jonathan Gannon has to say. Maybe talk more about the coaching side that I have to deal with as we go into this. But Yahoo did this thing where they did Major League Baseball. Best players on every team. Which, of course, I'm like, oh, interesting. Let's see who they have as the Diamondbacks. If I was to tell you, who was the best player on the Diamondbacks this year, Ketel Marte? To me, that's a no. Not there. Suarez? Well, he's not here anymore. So you can't do that, right? Corbin Carroll? I think he would be up there. They have, and I don't think this is a shocker, even though he's been making some errors lately and everything. Yeah, they have Geraldo Perdomo, of course, shortstop there as they call him the MVP of each team going into it. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense to me to have Perdomo at that position, at that spot that he's there. I don't have a problem with it. So that's at least a national perspective of where they are there. By the way, I looked up the Giants because I was just curious on the Giants because Giants they have their ace out there, Logan Webb, who the Diamondbacks just saw in Game 1 of this series as their best player going into this as well. By the way, they had the Mets. They had Juan Soto, right, which he has phenomenal numbers, but all right. So everybody's calling this loss yesterday by the Diamondbacks a demoralizing loss. They had a completely different lineup, younger lineup out there. And the lineup is going to continue to change. What are they going to do with first base coming up? Haven Smith's out for the rest of the season. Now we find out Locklear's out for the rest of the season. Possible surgery in line for him as well. For him. And it's just, wow. Just everything. The Diamondbacks just run into all of these injury situations and things. Now at first base, they're hurting in that spot. So today the lineups are out because 12:40 first pitch here today on the mound. Tawa is playing first base today for the Diamondbacks. So Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, Moreno, Del Castillo, Alexander, Thomas in center field, Tawa at first base, and McCarthy there in left field. Of course, Rodriguez on the mound for the Diamondbacks here against the Giants. I was reading all these articles last night, Jack Summers, the SI people that write there. It's my favorite coverage of the Diamondbacks. They do the best job out there. And a lot of people, okay, let me phrase it this way. That Empire last night sucked. He's always sucked. I said this about a month or so ago. When you're out of the playoff race, Major League Baseball doesn't care about you. You get the lowest rated umps. Get used to it and everything. Dead endings last night shows that point. But a lot of people blaming the umpire for Gallen's mistakes I saw last night. I don't get that at all. Yes, Gallen threw a ball right down the middle. He called it a ball. A couple batters later, they're scoring runs, right? One pitch screws you up that much that then you falter afterwards. It drives me nuts that people lean on that. Now, that happens occasionally, but when you've had the season like you've had, Gallen has, You got to be careful on that. It just he's leaving balls in the middle, and they're just getting launched for home runs. His home run tick is ridiculous. He ends up at 6 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 earned runs in that 6 2/3. 2 home runs he gave up as well. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks for Gallen yesterday. Gets through 6 2/3. Curtis comes in and finishes off the game, and 2 strikeouts, zeros everywhere else. For him, Diamondbacks lose 5-3 to the Giants. Robbie Rave's on the mound, ex-Diamondback, and did a really good job, I thought, Robbie Ray. 5 innings pitched for him as well, gave up only 2 earned runs, and then they had to bring in 4 other guys to close out that game for the Giants last night up there at Oracle Park. They called it raining there. I was like, is that rain? Is that sleet? Is that fogged? It was a weird weather night. I mean, we got to be careful. Remember, this is the stadium where Marte had the wind at his back for 2 days, and he had to take a few days off afterwards. So we got to be careful with Marte as we go through it. So a lot of the other chatter after the game, as I was listening to some post-game stuff, I was reading a bunch of stuff about it. A lot of talk about the umpire last night and kind of, I'm not going to say blaming the umpire, but definitely saying that affected the game out there. I'm not a big fan of that side of it because you just got to get through it, right? And if you have a ball down the middle, be called ball 4, and then, you still have to get the next guy out. And instead, an extra run scored as well because that was that 3, I think that, wasn't that a 3-run homer? It was that home run afterwards is what caused it. And then say, well, it should have been out of that inning. Well, you still got to make the throws. Still got to make the pitches from that side of stuff as well. So everybody's calling it a demoralizing loss. And not that they had a chance, but they were keeping things interesting in the wild card side. Like, can they do it? If they would have done well against the Giants, they could have gotten closer and all of that stuff. It's officially over, folks. I don't care what you say. It's over. You lose 2 out of 3. You get swept by the Giants, it's definitely over. What you're looking at. Giants, because this could have been you, because the Mets have been losing. Giants beating the Diamondbacks in these last 2 games. Diamondbacks are still only 4.5 games back. But you need the Mets to lose, which they're doing, and you need a win. Mets are losing, and you're not doing your end of it. The Giants are doing their end of it with these 2 wins. Giants are now 2 games back against the Mets. Giants are within striking distance. The Mets are going to whimper here at the end of the season. They got a tough schedule coming their way. Mets are going to whimper here. Giants, they have the Diamondbacks for 4 more games here coming up. If you can play well in just those 4 games and hope the Mets lose, you can get close to it there. But 2 games with the season remaining is definitely striking distance for those Giants to catch those Mets on that side. That could have been the Diamondbacks if they just would have been able to put this stuff together as well. Then these lineups, like yesterday's lineup told me, like, all right, we're just throwing in the towel. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to throw in the towel on this. We don't care. On the Diamondbacks, that's where you just get frustrated with the way you talk. You were technically still in it. It just doesn't feel like they're pushing like they're in it. They're just like, yeah, we're all right where we are. It's kind of what they're saying. Yeah, Lawler did get another hit yesterday. His batting average is up to a whopping 116 on the season. Yeah, 356 OPS as well from that side. So now they have the issue of first base. What are they doing with first base? Who's going to keep playing first base? Obviously, Tawa's got the start there today. We'll have to keep our eye on that position moving forward. But this is a legit problem here. I mean, they have a first base problem. But that should give Lawler some more time to play at third, because Tawa now, you don't have to have him out in the outfield. You don't have to have him in these other spots, or, you can just play him at first. And then Blaze Alexander can move around and stuff like that. So 5-5 in their last 10. I mean, stop me if you heard me say this year. Diamondbacks are 5-5 in their last 10. No matter what they do, they're 6-4, they're 4-6 in the last 10, or they're 5-5. Team's right around 500. And like I said, this is a 500 team. I've been saying this since May. I've heard some other people around town starting to say, oh, they're a 500 team. It doesn't mean they're going to finish at 500. They could finish 5 or 6 games above, 5 or 6 games below. I've been saying that all year, but they're about a 500 team. They're going to finish under 500 by 3, 4, or 5 games coming up here. Why? Because they have Dodgers on their schedule still. I believe they still have the Padres for another series or so. So they have some big games, and guys going into playoff pushes might get hot. But they're going to be in that 500 range at the end of the season. And we've talked a lot here, and I told you guys my thoughts. I heard basically Gamadori yesterday say he thinks Torey Lovullo is going to come back the way this team is playing right now. But if you're a general manager in an organization, I told you guys, I have the same feeling. The Diamondbacks are going to keep Torey Lovullo after this season for a couple reasons. Dale brought up the reason of you're not going to spend more on payroll next year. The team you see today is going to be pretty much the team you see next year. You're not going to have those veterans coming back, right? The pitchers aren't coming back. Corbin Burns, Puck, J-Mart, not coming back. Now you got Lord's going to be out as well. You're not going to fire a coach, bring in somebody else on a year where you're just going to exist next year and then get everybody back and then look at 2027. You have all of those factors coming up. But as an organization, at some point, you've got to step back. You're either happy, because everybody talks about those World Series years. So you're either happy with what you see overall on a season, or you're not. Can we get better going forward? My contention is, even though they went to the World Series 2 years ago, if you look at that regular season, everything went right in those playoffs for the Diamondbacks to get there. And you can't take it away from them. But if you look at that regular season, it's the same stuff we're talking about today. The same stuff we talked about last year. The same stuff we've talked about multiple years now with Torey's 9-year career here. This is what a Torey Lovullo team is. Now, we got extremely good luck. They had a good run in the playoffs, and they made it to the World Series. Absolutely. Remember that year? With a bullpen pitching staff for the 5th starter. And they made it to the World Series. That doesn't happen. Lightning in a bottle. This organization needs to look at this team and look at this manager and say, are we going to improve this at all? Or is this what we're always going to get? History says this is what you're going to get. And if you keep them around, that tells me the owner, the president, I'll even say the GM, they're fine with this. They're fine with where we are. They're perfectly fine with it. And they're not going to try to improve it all. And if that's the way they stand, that should tell you something as a fan as well. Why do you care so much if they're fine just being mediocre? You can blame the injuries all you want. They played like garbage before the injuries this year. You can blame whatever you want last year, the injuries last year. You missed the playoff by 1 game. By that tiebreaker, half a game or whatever it was. Pay attention to what your organization's telling you. And we're going to get it loud and clear here after this season. If they're fine with a mediocre, underperforming team, again, then they're keeping Torey. If they're not fine with it, well, they'll be in search of a manager that can maybe bring out a little bit more out of these guys and a coaching staff that can bring more out of these guys. That being said, as I said, I think as long as Hazen is the general manager, Torey Lovullo is the coach here. Hazen's safe. Parting words for everybody here today. Of course, tomorrow, thanks to Mike Sheahan, of course, head coach, Scottsdale Christian Academy, joining us here today. Tomorrow, Thursday, we have Uncle Lou joining me, 9 o'clock as well, UFC. A UFC fight this weekend, and then they got a week off after that. Of course, NFL Week 1. Get Lou's thoughts on what he saw there as well. So make sure you join us there as well. We'll get this posted up on demand here, Robat TV, YouTube as well. Free podcast systems for those of you. Like and subscribe to the free podcast, if you will. Not to listen to it, just like it. Get us out there as followers. Same thing on the YouTube page, if you will. Even if you don't watch us there. McCollum on Business coming up at 11 o'clock here, live, Robat TV. We'll do the same thing. It's on the YouTube page as well. And then we'll do our look ahead weekend here of the pit stop. Look ahead to Bristol Motor Speedway. Thursday, Friday, Saturday racing. here, and every series is in the playoffs starting this weekend as well. So we'll have the look ahead here on the pit stop, posted later on this afternoon. YouTube, Robat as well, free podcast systems. Folks, appreciate you joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. See you soon.